2021 6 p.m. session. Let's get started. Next slide, please. I'll begin with introductions. My name is Carmen Alba. I'm VP of Bus Operations here at SacRT. I oversee community bus services, contracted services, and paratransit services as well. With us tonight, you'll see Dan Tao. He's the Director of Community and Contracted Bus Services. Hey, Dan, you want to wave to everyone? There you go. Also, Kathy Sation is with us today. She's our paratransit operations manager. She's probably one whose name you're very familiar with. She's very involved in the day-to-day operations of paratransit. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
And then finally, we have Charity Oakley. She's our transportation superintendent. She also oversees community and contracted bus services. She works mostly with the dispatch and the drivers in paratransit operations. So we're the team that serves you. We're the team that wants to be here and answer your questions today on want to answer your questions, but we also want to learn how we can better deliver this service to you. I do want to also introduce Jamie Adelman. She's our AVP of Finance and Treasury. She was very instrumental. She was my co-project manager in the implementation of SacRT GO services here, and she's with us tonight. She will be our moderator. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Now I'll hand it over to Dan. He will go over our agenda.
Dan, you're muted.
Thank you. I was wondering why I couldn't get my picture to show up. Good morning, everyone. The agenda items that we will be speaking to today are the Zoom meeting guidelines, COVID-19 information, including free ride to get your vaccine, a safety reminder on the mask policy, and finally, our customer service feedback session, which will include a time for questions and answers. For our Zoom meeting guidelines, please use the chat feature. Additional questions after this session can be directed to 916-321-2877, option 3, then option 0. This open house session will be streamed afterwards on YouTube and will include closed captioning. Kathy, would you like to take it from here? Kathy, maybe. Kathy. Kathy.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy that you were able to make it to the evening session. This graphic that you are seeing, let SacRT be your free ride to your vaccine. And it also shows that you can take fixed route bus, smart ride, SacRT GO, and light rail. What does this mean for SacRT GO? All you have to do is call reservations, let the reservationist know that you're going for your vaccine, and we will handle the rest for you. On the day of your ride, you will only have to show a vaccine appointment to the driver, either an email, text, or a vaccine card. This will serve as valid fare for your ride. Next slide, please. This graphic shows no mask, no ride, no exception. SacRT requires all our passengers age 2 and older to wear a mask or a face covering while riding transit. And it depicts people riding the light rail wearing masks. at this time, we would like to thank all our passengers for adhering to the no mask, no ride, no exception policy that we have put in place. Now I will hand it back to Dan.
Thank you, Kathy. Now we'll move on to the customer service feedback session, including questions and answers. We have received questions in advance and we'll answer those first. If you have any questions, as a reminder, please use the chat feature. If you would like to send questions after the session, please feel free to call the number 916-321-2877, option 3, then option 1. So, Jamie, can you start going with the questions?
Sure, yeah. So I'll start with the questions that we received earlier today. And the first question is, will SacRT Go have Connect Card?
Jamie?
Can you hear me, Dan? I think you need to turn up your volume because I'm not muted.
Well, why don't I start then? First question that we received, will SacRT Go have Connect Card? SacRT is actively looking for alternative electronic fare methods for the SacRT Go service, being mindful of accessibilities. Next question, will there be a pickup and drop-off site at the Cal Expo vaccination site? The Cal Expo site for Sacramento County is a drive-in location only, and the Kaiser site at Cal Expo is a standalone site that has not partnered with SacRT. We do not have a special drop-off and pickup location at Cal Expo for SacRT Go. I'm sorry, let me get back to that question. So will there be a pickup and drop-off site at the Cal Expo vaccination site? The Cal Expo site for the Sacramento County is a drive-in location only, and the Kaiser site at Cal Expo is a standalone site that has not partnered with SacRT. We do not have a special drop-off and pickup location at Cal Expo for SacRT GO Paratransit customers. I'm sorry, we do have a special drop-off pickup location. We are working closely with the county and partners to ensure transit services are as close as possible to the different vaccination locations.
Okay, Dan, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, great. So will we be providing any service to Anatolia?
This is something that we are currently working on. We do need to do a couple changes before that service can be brought to SacRT Go.
Thank you. And how can I purchase fare to ride SacRT Go?
Fares can be purchased at our customer service office and sales center at 1225 R Street. Also, fares can be purchased over the phone at 916-321-2877.
Okay, how early can I ride?
SacRT Go ADA service is available while a regular fixed route or light rail service line is running. ADA service is within 3/4 miles of the active route or light rail run.
Thank you. Can you please explain the pickup window?
Thank you, Amy. This is actually a question that we get a lot. So for those of you who has a SacRT Go Rider's Guide, this pickup window is identified in there. If you do not have a Rider's Guide and you would like a Rider's Guide, we can send one to you. The phone number that you can call to get that Rider's Guide is 916-321-2877, option 2, then option 1. But to go over the pickup window, when you call to reserve your ride, you will be given a 30-minute pickup window in which the vehicle will arrive. You will need to be ready at the beginning of your window. For example, if your negotiated ready time, or another term that you may hear is your pickup time, is at 8 o'clock in the morning, your 30-minute pickup window is anywhere from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. You will need to be ready to board at 8 a.m. And by being ready when the vehicle arrives, you help keep everyone's trips on schedule. Next question.
Sure, I'm just going to make a quick announcement, Dan. There was a question in the chat from Charlie. Thank you for that. Can people call a phone number to ask a question now? And the answer to that is yes. They can call 916-321-2877, option 3, then option 0. You can also see that on your screen at this time. Okay, I'll go to the next question. And that question is, I am a user of the SacRT GO service, and I'm interested in the service coming to Elk Grove. It was brought to my attention that in order for that to happen, that SacRT and the city must come to an agreement to marry, for a lack of a better word, fully into the SacRT district, and that existing conditions do not allow for SacRT GO to serve Elk Grove at this time. What is the progress report of a proposed marriage of Elk Grove going fully into SacRT in 2021?
So SacRT is continuing positive discussions with the City of Elk Grove regarding annexation of the City of Elk Grove Transit Services. However, there are a number of steps that will have to occur in order for an annexation to take place, including the approval of an annexation agreement by the City of Elk Grove and SacRT governing bodies. We do expect that the annexation or that an annexation agreement will be presented for approval by spring 2021. If it is approved and adopted by SacRT in the City of Elk Grove, the transfer of service would occur later in the year. For more information, please monitor our website for updates and items before the SacRT Board of Directors.
Okay, thank you for that. With regards to the existing mask policy on regional transit, combined with people now getting the vaccine, will folks who successfully get both booster shots to get them immune from the vaccine ultimately change the mask policy over the next several weeks or couple of months? Or will riders likely be masking up for the next several years?
At this time, we have no plans to change the mask requirements on transit. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, recently issued a mandate for riders to wear a mask or face covering while riding public transit. We continue to follow the guidance from Sacramento County Public Health and the CDC to keep our employees and riders safe and slow the spread of COVID-19.
Okay. Let me get to this next question here. I'm excited about how many questions we got in tonight. That's good. It means that people are engaged and interested in our service. This next question, do I have to wait an hour and a half between rides?
The hour and a half time is there to allow for unforeseen delays, including traffic and inclement weather between rides and drop-off locations. This ensures that riders have time at their destination before the driver shows up for their return ride.
Thank you. Can I be picked up earlier?
The schedule currently does not allow for us to be able to reschedule rides on the same day they are to be taken. If there is an earlier requested pickup time, we do request that those rides, those changes be made in advance and the day prior when rides are being created.
Okay, great. And if you don't mind, Dan, I'll probably handle the answer to this one. How much is the fare? So that falls under my responsibility, and a single ride ticket for SacRT GO is $5. There is also a 60 ride monthly pass for $137.50. Along with that 60 ride monthly pass, that enables the pass holder to also utilize SacRT's light rail, fixed route bus, and smart ride services for no additional cost. So that 60 ride pass really serves as a pass for the entire month that you purchased it for, and it covers all of SacRT's modes of transportation. Okay, and that pass can be purchased at our customer service center at 1225 R Street, and it can also be purchased by calling our customer service center. So this next one is going to be for you, Dan. Can I be picked up from a different location on my return trip?
You may be picked up from a different location if it was initially scheduled to have a different pickup from the drop-off location. The schedule does not allow us to be able to reschedule rides on the same day they are to be taken.
Thank you. And does SacRT go to Delta Shores?
Currently, SacRT GO does not go into the Delta Shores. Delta Shores is outside of SacRT's service area.
Okay. And when will the HEART coupons be available again?
So the HEART program is a program that was provided by the city of Sacramento. It was discontinued when the pandemic had hit us. However, we do anticipate that when the pandemic is more under control, that the HEART program may start up again. And when that happens, we will start accepting those rides again.
Okay. Can I book a ride for today?
Currently, we do not provide same-day service. You would have to book a ride at least 2 days in advance of the scheduled pickup and drop-off time.
Okay, thanks for that. And with that, I'll just do a little plug for our Smart Ride service. Our SacRT Smart Ride service is specific to zones, so it may not work for everybody. But if you are traveling within one of those zones, you can get same day service with Smart Ride, and it's like an on-demand service. So all of the vehicles for Smart Ride are also fully ADA accessible. So that may be an option for you. And if you hold that monthly pass that I talked about before, the fare is covered with your monthly pass to take Smart Ride. Otherwise, your fare would be $1.25 for each ride. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Will the bus wait for me if I go right in and right back out of my destination?
Unfortunately, currently the bus does not will not be waiting for you to go in unless it was a pre-scheduled ride. If you do have those rides, we do suggest that you pre-schedule it, and those rides can be placed on a route that will, a route that will be set for other riders as well. There may be occasions where the bus may have you as the next pickup. However, we don't want to guarantee that trip as a set pickup and drop off for that specific route.
Okay. I've got one more here and then we'll jump to the questions in the chat. How is SacRT handling COVID-19?
The SacRT is taking extraordinary measures to ensure the safety of our riders and our passengers, riders and our employees. A few of the things that we do is that SacRT fogs the vehicles daily. We have, some of you have seen in our fixed route services, SacRT provides the barriers for the drivers. And then we also have our mask policy, our no mask, no ride policy, which we have seen a number of successes with that in slowing the spread of COVID-19.
Okay, thank you for that, Dan. So I'm going to go to the questions that are coming up in the chat. And the first one is from Jeff Tartagia, and it said, how many today at 10 a.m.? And I'll take that one. We had approximately 22 people on at our peak this morning for the 10 a.m. session. The next comment, I believe, is I'm not sure who sent this one in, but we did get a comment that Deborah Fuller wanted to attend the SacRT GO virtual open house meeting, but she can't because she's not able to dial an extension. She is unable to use her limbs. Ms. Fuller requested a direct number back in July 2020 to dial for SacRT GO services so that she could have her caregiver program the number into her phone. She reached out to Inaccessible Services to relay this message. She is not always able to find someone to dial her number to reserve her rides. The voice option will be a tremendous help for her and others who cannot use their hands or lack the strength to push buttons. Thank you for submitting that. SacRT is working towards the voice automation phone system, and we appreciate the feedback, and we're going to do our best to move forward with the implementation of that technology. Let's see, the next comment was from Mike Barnbaum. Good to see you here tonight, Mike. I wanted to speak on advocacy. Currently, the ADA definition only focuses on the distance of an active fixed route bus line. SacRT has changed over the years to introduce services like SmartRide, among others. How can we work cooperatively and as a team with the Biden administration to change the federal ADA definition so that it is not so exclusive to where fixed routes operate, but also where SmartRide services operate as well? I would like to be involved on the team with regard to advocacy on this particular change to happen.
Thank you for the comment, Mike. That is something that we would like to see as well. We do have our government liaison team that work towards things like that. However, SmartRide microtransit is still a really very new service that is new to the industry. And as more transit agencies start picking up more SmartRide, eventually NTD and FTA will start recognizing it as a form of federally provided transit to start pushing ADA service in that area as well. What I can't do, though, is speak to the ADA service here for SacRT Go and for SmartRide. And there are options in SmartRide that, although SmartRide is not a fixed route service, there are options that if you use SmartRide, that we can provide you as close as a curb-to-curb pickup for users requiring a more access and more assistance in getting in and off the bus. We do encourage you to call if you are one of these riders, to call our customer service line at 916-321-2877. When you call that line, we encourage that you ask about SmartRide and how you can get that curb-to-curb service, and we can help you get that for you.
Okay, so the next comment I spoke on once, but Charlie asked that we provide the call-in number, and I'm going to do that again one more time. It is also on the screen, but the number, if you want to submit a question now via phone, you can call 916-321-2877, select option 3, then option 0. Okay, and the next one's from Mike Barnbaum. How thrilled are you all that Elk Grove appears to be part of the SacRT GO service area starting around Thursday, July 1st, 2021?
Thank you again for that question, Mike. That does speak back to that annexation discussion that the SacRT and the city of Elk Grove are having in regards to transit services. Some of the questions that we do have, and I will jump around right now, sorry, Jamie, because this does bring up a question on the regional paratransit trips from Elk Grove EVAN and the SacRT GO service. We anticipate that once the annexation agreement has been accepted by both parties, that one of the first services to come from that is a regional paratransit rides for riders from Elk Grove to get into Sacramento and riders from Sacramento to get into Elk Grove.
Great, thank you. And we are excited, Mike. It's a long, really good partnership that we've had with the city of Elk Grove, being their contract service provider since July of 2019. We hope everyone has had a good experience out there as well. The next one is from Jeffrey Tardia, and it says, in downtown, you have selected drop-off points at night, ? Concerns is sidewalks and lights, ?
For SacRT Go, we do offer a door-to-door service. So for riders in SacRT Go, we will take them right up to their door and pick them right up from their door. So we have very little concern about lights and sidewalks, as we are assisting in that sense. I believe this question is more of a SmartRide type question. There are specific pickups and drop-off points in the core downtown area. However, once you get to outside of the core downtown area, and this is more along beyond 16th Street, it starts becoming corner to corner, and the corner to corner means that you may end up having to walk a couple maybe 25 to 50 feet to get to where the bus can pick you up for Smart Ride. However, again, for SacRT Go, we offer up a door-to-door service.
Thank you. Next one is from Mike. Is the Sacramento International Airport in or not in the ADA service area? Remember back on March 23, 2020, Route 142 was suspended. What are SacRT's plans for fixed route service to the Sacramento International Airport? The ability to provide SacRT Go service in an ADA way will fully depend on what SacRT fixed routes will ultimately do in going to and from the Sacramento International Airport.
So currently the SacRT Go service does go into the Sacramento International Airport if they have a ADA trip tied to them. And what that means is that, sorry, Kathy's looking at me. Maybe Kathy, you want to take this question? Let me.
There we go. I'm sorry. So the trip to the airport, if the origin of the trip and the destination is within a 3/4 mile of a fixed route or light rail station operating, it would be an ADA service area trip. But we also provide non-ADA trips to the airport at this time.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, Dan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So the next question was from Irma. When we purchase ride tickets, are they available to use that same day?
So if you purchase the tickets and you have them available currently, then yes, you can. Unfortunately, if you purchase them over the phone or yes, over the phone, we would have to wait for those tickets to arrive to you. We do mail those out, and as soon as you receive those tickets, we can start using those tickets. If you purchase a monthly pass, that can be used the same day. And if you come into some trouble writing that, if the driver says that you don't have one, just ask the driver to communicate to dispatch, and dispatch will verify if you have a monthly pass. We want to make sure that your ride is good. If your ride is good, then we want to make sure that you get your ride.
Okay. So I see the comment about here again about Deborah Fuller, and we addressed that one earlier. Here's another one from Mike. Reminder to all, SacRT Go is not available for same-day service. However, to Jamie's point, on weekdays only, Smart Ride does allow same-day requests, and in fact, it is only a same-day service request. Advanced reservations or advanced ride requests in Smart Ride are not permitted like they are on the SacRT Go. In closing, SacRT Go ride requests are only 1 to 2 days in advance and must be made by 5 p.m. the day prior to the ride being needed. Thank you, Mike. Okay, the next one is from Connie, and she asks, for shared rides, would it be possible to schedule riders who live in the same area together instead of going all over the county so that ride shares can be more timely and efficient?
The program that we use, EcoLane, does try to group and aggregate riders as much as possible. However, depending on the drop-off locations for those rides, those riders may not be on the same bus. Ideally, we do try to put as many riders on the same bus going to the same location as possible. We do understand the efficiency that would help us to make sure that everyone's ride is on time. However, depending on the next ride of the driver, that may not be the case.
Okay, and the next comment is from Jamie Poole Canaveri. She's our Director of Customer Satisfaction here at SacRT. And she wanted to let you all know that these are great questions and keep them coming. All the questions and content will be posted on SacRT's YouTube channel for future viewing. Oops, excuse me 1 second. I jumped back to the top. Let me get back down here. Okay, I believe there was another question regarding the COVID vaccines. Dan, do you want to go over that one more time, the free ride program that SacRT Go has and SacRT in general has for the free rides for vaccines?
Yes, in fact, let me switch back to the slide so that everyone can see and I can go over it this time instead of Kathy. So the slide that we have here is has a graphic that states, let SacRT be your ride to get your vaccine. We have our modes of transportation also depicted on this slide. It is a bus, a cutaway, paratransit or smart ride, and a light rail train. What this means for SacRT Go, and actually what this means for all of our service lines. I'll go over SacRT Go first, then I'll go over our service line. All you have to do is call in and schedule your ride. Inform the reservationist that you will be going to get a vaccine, and we will handle the rest for you. On the day of your ride, you only need to show a vaccine appointment confirmation in the form of an email, a text, or a vaccine card to your driver. This will serve as valid fare for your ride. If you are riding Smart Ride, fixed route bus, or light rail, all you have to do is use your appointment confirmation in the form of the email, the text, or the vaccine card. Show that to your driver, and that will serve as valid fare for your ride. With Smart Ride, fixed route bus, or light rail, you do not need to schedule in advance. With Smart Ride, again, it is a on-demand service with what, echoing what Mr. Barnbaum said earlier.
Okay, shoot, my screen keeps jumping. Mike said, I'm not sure if the other part of my airport question was answered as to what the SacRT fixed route plans are to serve the airport, as this would impact the ADA versus non-ADA trips provided to the airport. Can someone clarify the forecast of providing fixed route service to the airport, as this would impact folks that use a SacRT Go to SMF? I think he wants to know specifically about the Route 142 and what the plans are for that service.
So our planning department is actually in pretty constant communication with the airport and in trying to figure out when the best time to bring back the airport service, the Route 142 is. When that Route 142 does come back, we do anticipate that it comes back possibly mostly at full service. And if it is a full service, it will become a route that the SacRT Go ADA service also provides service to. These current ADA service is really as early as 3:30 in the morning because of how early the gold line starts, and as late as 12:30 at night because of how late the blue line ends. However, that is going to change significantly. The times won't change, but then it won't just be the gold line and the blue line. It will be the gold line, blue line, and the airport, the 142 when the 142 comes back. Again, the planning department is in very constant communication and trying to identify if and when the 142 will be coming back.
Okay, great. And just a reminder, we are now currently providing non-ADA service to the airport. So you still can take SacRT Go to the airport. It's just considered non-ADA right now. Okay, next question was from Jeff Tartagia. Downtown has various pickup and drop off with one-way streets, back alley, Ping Yuan apartments, and I Street 28 and 27 for the theater and Pioneer Church. Also some issues around 18th Street and no spaces, corners, Riverview often alley, question mark.
So we do have a very extensive site assessment program that we utilize here with SacRT Go. If a new location comes to us, or if we get a report that a location is unsafe, we send staff out to that location and do a site assessment to see where the best place we can use to drop off a passenger and pick up a passenger, as well as if we can go directly to the door with that. An example would be a apartment complex that does not have a through street, and the site assessment may say that the driver will have to pick up on the driveway and can assist with the rider coming to the door or coming to the bus. Or it may be something more along the lines of a site assessment where there is a driveway that is not paved, where the vehicle cannot make it through. And in that sense, the site assessment would identify the best place for that pickup and drop off.
Okay, thank you. A question from, or a comment from Mary. We need more help with the driver. I had appointment and the driver gave me a hard time.
If at any time a driver gives you a hard time, please feel free to call our customer service line. If you feel like you are in immediate danger, please don't hesitate to call 911. However, if a driver is giving you a hard time, let us know. Communicate to customer service. Jamie Poole-Canaveri and her team are very good about letting the management staff know what is going on, and we address it as soon as we possibly can, as soon as we get that notification. If you are currently active on that route and you call us, as soon as that message is created and sent to the customer advocacy team, they send it immediately over to us.
Thank you. Okay, and I tried to guess Irma's question earlier and I was wrong. So she clarified on here for me. Regarding the COVID vaccines, what is the protocol for your employees? Are they requiring them to wait at least 24 hours before they go back to work? I was provided a letter of my exposure, which I appreciate, but to keep everyone safe, I would suggest a strict protocol change.
So as soon as we are notified of a positive test, we would notify the riders of that driver. This is for SacRT Go. We have our we know which riders are impacted with the COVID exposure, and so we would notify them of the possible exposure that they have. Unfortunately, we do not allow the driver to come back until the driver has been cleared by their medical physicians. And there are a few things that would make them clear. I myself am not a medical professional, but I do know that one of them is that the driver must be free of all COVID symptoms for at least 24 hours before they come back to work. And we do follow the direction given to us by their physicians before they come back to work.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's see, a question from Mike just came in. Are vaccine passports allowed in lieu of a mask as long as 15 days have elapsed since the second dose has been performed?
So currently the SacRT has no plans to change our mask policy. The vaccine, although it is great to show that a rider has gotten the vaccine, it's very difficult for us to verify and enforce that actually did happen. So we do still currently follow the CDC guidelines in allowing enforcing the no mask, no ride policy.
Thank you. And a new question from Jeff came in. Why not 142 like Smart Ride on demand? Starting around Hyatt, but drop off and pickup can then be changed.
Thank you for that comment, Jeff. I will forward that over to our planning department to see what their thoughts are on that.
Okay. Not seeing any additional questions in the chat. I'm going to go back to some other questions that have come in through phone calls. So first question is, Dan, what if I still have coupons from PI?
So we currently are still accepting those coupons. We have not put a expiration date on those coupons yet. When we have decided to put that expiration date on those coupons, we will make sure to notify either through social media or our website, and possibly even our constant contact to everyone to make sure that they are aware that that's happening. Jamie, would you like to go over our constant contact?
Yeah, thanks, Dan, for bringing that up. So that's a way that SacRT is able to send out emails to all of our riders, and we can send out alerts. We can send out information about virtual open houses like the event that we're having today and this evening. So if you would like to be signed up for that constant contact, when you call in to make your reservation, please tell your reservationist that you'd like to make sure that your email address is on file. Once we have your email address there, then we'll be able to get a hold of you via email in the future. Okay, so the next question, Dan, is how do I apply for new ADA certification?
To apply for a new ADA certification, all you have to do is call 916-321-2877, option 2, then option 1. That takes you to our eligibility and accessible services department, and they can get you started to start the process. It can take up to 21 days to finish that process. However, once you finish that process, you would be able to start writing. And that would also give you the opportunity to get the monthly pass because you are a rider. If you get the monthly 60-day or 60 ride pass to start utilizing our other fixed route and smart ride services for free.
Okay, great. We got a call in from Beatrice, and she just wanted everyone at SacRT Go to know how much she really likes the service. So thank you very much, Beatrice, for that feedback. We will definitely let the entire team know. Will there be a new rider's guide with new phone numbers?
So we do have a new rider's guide with new phone numbers. The rider's guide is available both online, and we can also send one out to you. If you would like one, please call 916-321-2877, option 2, then option 1. Or you can find it online at the SacRT Accessible Services website. The phone numbers have changed in there. However, all of the policies in the rider's guide are still the same as when they were prior to SacRT Go transition.
Great, thank you. What are the hours that the buses are running?
So currently the hours that SacRT Go runs is as early, again, as 3:30 in the morning, and then as late as 12:30 at night. We follow our bus routes and fixed and light rail service lines. So if there's anything running on the fixed route, both bus and light rail, our SacRT Go service also provides ADA rides to those. To get those, again, as a reminder, the ADA ride is a 3/4 miles from an active fixed route or light rail station.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. How will that assist for the drivers to treat your passengers?
So we do provide sensitivity training to our drivers so that they understand what it means to work with a passenger who has any sort of disability. We want to make sure that the driver is aware and is cognizant of the functionalities of the job that they perform, and that they can assist with every rider in any ways that they can during our rides. Of course, again, if you experience any sort of if you feel like you did not get proper assistance, or that you received a poorly customer service ride, please let us know so that we can address that situation.
Okay, a question from Scott came in on the chat. I'm going to jump over to that, Dan. And it says, how is RT planning to provide 1,400 rides per day?
Currently, we are staffed up to provide not as many as 1,400 rides a day, but we do also have options that we are working with to try to provide that ride. So we are not fully staffed, and we are working towards that fully staffed option. We initially, because of the pandemic, decided to not go to the full staff that we initially thought would be necessary for 1,400 rides. We knew that it was going to be lower, so we didn't staff up to that high. The other option that we have that we're exploring right now is that we are working on a request for proposal for brokered services. Broker services being other agencies to provide our rides for us. And that is still in the works. We have been working on that for the better part of half a year now, but because of the nature of this service, we want to make sure that we capture everything that we need to capture, and we leave it open as much as we possibly can to make sure that we provide, that we get the proposals that will best suit our needs and our riders' needs.
Great, thank you. And here's a comment from Jamie Poole, Canterbury. Tip, if you or a fellow rider wishes to share their feedback on a less than favorable experience, you can call 916-557-4545 or send an email to customeradvocacy@sacrt.com. The Customer Advocacy Department is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We also like to hear when you have a positive experience. We appreciate feedback and will continue to follow our mission, moving you where you want to go, when you want to go. Thank you for that, Jamie. And then we have another comment from Irma, and it says, I agree not to change your policy. I feel people who cannot take the vaccine due to health complications can be exposed by others. I appreciate everyone who does contribute to wearing safety masks. Thank you for that, Irma. Let's see, our next comment here is from Mike, and it says, as it pertains to the rider's guide, wouldn't it go under revision around July 1st in preparation for the potential of service to Elk Grove, assuming that both the board of directors and the city council vote in the affirmative to annex? Votes are expected to happen on March 22nd at the board and either April 14th or the 28th at city council. From what I've been told to report to you all tonight. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mike. That is on our radar, and we do plan to make revisions to the rider's guide for the changes if there is to be an annexation between SacRT and the city of Elk Grove. And we will definitely send out an email to everybody, which is why we really hope you'll sign up and give us your email address so that we can provide information and updates to everybody as that progresses. And remember, you can do that by telling your reservationist what your email address when you call to make your reservations. Okay, and then the next question is from Irma, and it is, are your drivers trained for emergency care, CPR, first aid, etc.?
Currently, we do not have a requirement to have our drivers trained in emergency care. And actually, with that statement, I want to provide another reminder to all of our, to everyone here in this open house, that these questions and this open house session will be posted to YouTube after this session. We are going to have all of these questions in here. If you have any questions after this session, please feel free to call 916-321-2877, option 3, then option 0. Those questions will be gathered and sent to us, and we will also provide answers to those questions online.
Yeah, and then Irma, so the protocol that we currently have in place, if there were to be some kind of emergency on vehicle, is for us to call 911. We want to make sure that a person is treated by a professional. The next question or comment is from Mary, and she said, if you ride until 12 a.m., then what time is the latest you can make a pickup scheduled for the night? What is the last pickup time at night? And also, I'm really happy with the staff. Thank you for that, Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for that comment. If you ride until 12 a.m., the latest time that you can schedule a pickup for that night is at 12:30 a.m. Again, 12:30 a.m. is when the last light rail run, the blue line runs. And so that would be the latest if it is a part of the blue line. Unfortunately, because if you are in an area that is not being serviced by a fixed route or light rail, if one or both of your legs fall under a current active service route, then we can go right up to when that last route is running.
Okay, the next question, and I just want to throw a reminder out there, it's currently 6:50, so we've got about 10 minutes left, but we appreciate the engagement here tonight. There's a lot of great questions coming in. The next question is from Scott, and it says, so your plan is to contract out the ADA service? And I'll jump in on that one and I'll say no, our plan is not to contract out the ADA service. Currently, SacRT is providing 100% of the trips that are being scheduled, and we will continue to increase our staff to meet the demand of the service. We're watching that very closely on a day-by-day basis, literally day by day. And we plan to adjust our staffing as service demand comes back. SacRT will, however, have contracts for broker trips to ensure that we can meet all of our ADA demands. We currently have 0 ADA denials, and we intend to keep it that way. So we want to make sure that we can provide a trip to everyone that needs it, but we also want to control that by providing as many trips in-house as possible so that we can really control that customer service. The next question is from Jeff, and it says, beyond expanding 3 plans in April, what is next changes? When can FixBus interact with Smart Ride Transfer or shopping centers, city halls, Walmarts, and the packages limits?
The fixed route bus can currently interact with Smart Ride transfers. The unfortunate thing is that Smart Ride, because of the nature of the service, and it is a demand service, you may be dropped off or picked up at a time that is separate from when that scheduled fixed route bus or light rail may happen. However, if you purchase a transfer on Smart Ride, that transfer works for fixed route bus as well as for light rail. All fare media that are that are acceptable at fixed route and light rail is also acceptable at Smart Ride. So the 3 services do work in tandem with each other. And then of course there is the 60 ride pass for SacRT Go that will provide you a free ride for all 3 services, including fixed route bus, light rail, and Smart Ride.
Great, thank you. Okay. Got about 8 minutes left. I'm going to jump back to a couple other questions that came in via email here. Will there be any availability for users with disabilities to test the online app before it is released?
We currently have a testing group already. We are currently testing it, making sure that it meets our criteria, making sure that we also make sure that it is accessible to everyone. Unfortunately, we are still testing it and we are still going through some programming changes. And so when those changes are complete and done, we can finally release that app.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Are we still keeping within the same counties?
We are still keeping within the same county. When we transitioned over service to SacRT GO Paratransit Services, our promise was to not make any changes to our riders. There are some things that we are learning afterwards that was happening before the transition that we were working towards correcting, and some riders that have already experienced that correction already. So we are working towards making sure that those rides in those service areas are as the same or as similar as possible.
Great, thank you. Excuse me. So Scott had a follow-up and it said, so you're saying when we are COVID free, RT will provide all rides in-house from RT and not contract out rides. I'd like to provide clarification on that. That is not the plan. Like Dan said, we are looking for outside brokers to provide additional trips that are beyond the capacity that SacRT can provide. The next question, I think looks like a comment from Mike, and it says 3 smart ride zones are changing on April 5th. Additional zone changes are likely to occur in summer 2021 service changes, but are still a work in progress behind the scenes. One change that appears that will happen in summer 2021 is the Gerber zone, which will likely be sometime in June 2021.
Thank you, Mike. And yes, we are looking at changes, but there's still work in progress, as there's still a lot of things that we have to do prior to even announcing what those changes are. And some of them does have to do with making sure that those are even appropriate changes to make. We are constantly monitoring our routes, constantly monitoring our smart ride zones, making sure that they are continue to be productive, and making sure that we can try to incorporate as much service into those zones as possible.
Okay, and then Mike Barnbaum asked, what is defined as an outside broker? Can someone please give some examples? Thank you.
So an outside broker is a different agency that has been contracted to perform the work that is available, that we will provide. A good example, I'm going to use what was previously happening with the ADA trips prior to SacRT GO transition. And there were agencies like the Asian Community Center that was providing brokered trips. United Cerebral Palsy was providing brokered trips. Even as much as Yellow Cab was providing brokered trips. Our intention is to provide as little broker trips as possible. However, we do understand that there are occasional times when we may not be able to meet that capacity that is demanded of us, and we want to have that option to provide those trips to our riders.
Okay, just a couple of minutes left here, Dan. I've got a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Are there any holiday or weekend restrictions with SacRT GO?
The only restriction that we have on holidays and weekends is that the times of the rides do change with the fixed route that's available during that time. A good example is that on the weekends, on Sundays in particular, we have our fixed route rides, our routes are not as plenty as the weekends, as the weekdays. So on Sundays, that also impacts our riders, our SacRT GO service. If the Route 51 is running, then we will have a comparable SacRT GO ADA trip with this Route 51. If the Blue Line is running, we will have a comparable trip with the Blue Line. If the Blue Line is not running, then we won't have a comparable trip, ADA trip with the Blue Line.
Okay, great, thank you. Are there any changes for individuals that are clients from Alta Regional?
The only change that we have is the phone number that they call to reserve a ride. That change happened back in July of 2020. However, there are no current changes on the service or the fare that the Alta clients utilize.
Great, thank you. And that's a great partnership we have with Alta Regional. It's great that we can provide service for them. This next question, and it may be the last one we answer because we're almost out of time here tonight. We'll do a couple of just wrap up comments, is about subscription trips. This person says, I have a subscription ride to work, but I am working at home right now. How do I cancel for a date range?
All you have to do is call the SacRT reservations line, which is 916-321-2877, option 2, then option 2 again. You would tell your reservationist that you wanted to cancel your subscription trips for a date range, and we can make that happen. We can make that happen to where you no longer would get that ride for that time period. If that changes, then you would, of course, again, call that number and change those trips back. And we do appreciate if you do have a subscription trip and you would like to cancel or cancel for a day range, that you call us. That way we can make sure that you're not on the schedule, and we wouldn't be calling you to ask you where you are if the bus shows up in front of your house.
Okay, and then the last comment came through from Irma, and she says, I want to thank the RT Go team. My transition using your service has not been without issues. However, by addressing my concerns, your team has quickly moved forward to address my concerns. I now enjoy and feel safe with your services. Thank you. So thank you very much for that comment, Irma. It's greatly appreciated. And we do greatly appreciate everyone's comments and interactions and feedback tonight. Just as a kind of like a wrap up from me personally, I can't believe we've been operating the service now for almost 9 months. This time last year, we were gearing up and working hard on that service transition. And then, COVID set in on us and everything changed, the world changed. And we worked really hard to make sure that we had a smooth transition for everyone that was still relying on the service on a daily basis. So we're really excited that the service is going so well, and we're really happy that you all participated with us tonight and listened in and are providing constructive feedback for us and constructive criticisms so that we can improve. I think there's always ways to improve on any service. So I just want to say thank you, and then I'll kick it back to Dan for any of his closing comments.
Thank you, Jamie. Closing comments that I have is that we do appreciate everyone's attendance and engagement in this open house session. Again, this open house session will be posted onto YouTube and with all the questions on there, as well as other questions that were asked that we did not go through in this open house. If you have any further questions after this session, you can again call 916-321-2877, option 3, then option 1. Those questions will be forwarded to us, and we will make sure to answer those questions and post them as well. When the YouTube link is active, we will put it on our website, and it will be available on our website. So keep an eye out on the website for changes and on the SacRT Go side for the link to YouTube. And again, I want to thank everybody for their participation. I want to thank everybody for the feedback. We do plan on having more open house sessions throughout the year. This is the first open house session that we have had once the transition is over, and we do like the feedback that we're getting. And so we want to continue using this feedback to fine tune the service and make it as efficient and as good as we possibly can. So with that being said, it is 7:01. Thank you all for your time, and we will now end this open house session.
Great, thank you. And thanks to our MAC members that were here tonight, Pam, Charlie, Helen. Sorry if I'm missing anybody, but thank you for your continued support. Have a great night.
Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.